guys, my video today is going to be all about how I took my body from thick to thin. So this had to do with how I trained and how I ate. Okay, so first I should introduce myself. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Ashley from Royally Fit, and I'm a personal trainer, and I want to tell you about how I took my body from here because I didn't think that I could change it that drastically just by tweaking how I worked out and how I ate. So I kind of want to go over what this style of training and my style of eating looked like years ago. I'm going to say at this point, almost 8 years ago, 8 to even 10 years ago. So shortly after I became a personal trainer, I was really focused on like the gym scene, and honestly also is what I learned when I became a personal trainer is lifting heavier and going from 8 to 12 reps. So my training style before was very body focused on certain parts of your body each session. So for instance, I would go to the gym and I'd have a leg day. Okay, then I'd go to the gym and I'd have an arm day. And then I'd go to the gym and I'd work my, my butt and my shoulders. And so every day, and I worked out honestly 6 to 7 days a week for 60 minutes plus at a time. It's mind-blowing now. I don't even know where I had the time to do it. But each time I went, I would spend, 10 minutes on the cardio machine, warming up, and then after that, I would go and I would hit the weights and I would do an exercise, say for my legs, and I go super heavy and I would do it for like 8 to 12 reps, maybe 20, and then I would do that for 2 to 4 sets. And then I would just focus on my legs. Like I would just do a bunch of exercises for my quads, and then a bunch of exercises for my hamstrings, maybe some a little bit of calf work, and then I would finish it off with a little bit more cardio at the end. So I would typically go and do, maybe like another 10-15 minutes of running. So this is what it looked like, and even sometimes during this time when I was training, I would even get up in the morning, I would go do cardio on an empty stomach, which I don't promote anymore, and then I would go back to the gym. So I would even go and do like 20-30 minutes, and then I'd go back to the gym in the evening and I'd lift weights. And it's kind of mind-boggling now because I can't even fathom having that kind of time. But also, it's just my body was so different. Now, keeping in mind, for my body, I'm only 5'1". So I have shorter muscles. Like when you're shorter, you tend to have shorter type muscles, which means that you can put some weight on, like some girth, some muscle on, a little bit quicker than somebody that's taller and has like the long lean muscles. So for me, it didn't take much. I know at one point, I was also spinning and everything, I grew my legs 2 inches in like 2 months time, maybe even like 6 weeks. Like that's quite a bit of muscle in a short amount of time, but that's because of my style of training. My arms were quite a bit bigger. I would say that's what shows the most if I was to show you a picture of me back during that time, is that like my arms were quite thick because I would go and I would do an arm day and I would completely exhaust my arms, like just working biceps and triceps. And it felt good because I felt really strong, but it wasn't the aesthetic and the physique I was going for. So, and the way I train now, I still feel strong. So it doesn't mean that you have to lift heavy to feel like that. So yeah, I went to the gym 6 to 7 times a week, which is crazy. I worked out for 60 minutes, sometimes more. I did specific body training, so like specific muscle training. So I would train my legs or my arms or my back, and then I'd have a chest day, and yeah, so you get the idea. So that's kind of how I trained then. And I also, during this time, my eating was very different. So during this time, I found that I was really no carbs. Like I was really focused on going low carb all the time, high protein, high protein, like an incredible amount of protein smoothies, an incredible amount of chicken, of fish, lots of veggies as well. And I did get some carbohydrates through that, but I did not rejuvenate my body with that many carbs. And I would eat quite clean during the week, very clean actually during the week, not quite clean. I was almost obsessed with food. And because I was going for this certain physical look that you see in magazines, because I became a personal trainer, I thought I had to look like the women on the magazine covers of, say, Oxygen. And I needed to like be shredded in my abs, and I needed to be, you know, like really strong arms and like super lean. And at this time, it was really trendy to be low carb. So that's how I ate, and I counted calories. So I was working out this much, and I was also trying to stay within a 1,200 calorie restriction per day. Wow, that's like so little now compared to how I eat. Like, it's very, very different. So what would happen is that come the weekend, all of a sudden, like, my body would be like, this isn't happening anymore. I'm going to make you crave everything under the sun. You are going to eat all that under the sun. You're going to eat until you feel sick. You're going to have to undo your butt, and you're going to be, you know, full of gas. Your stomach's going to be distended. You might not go to the bathroom for a couple of days. And then it would stay like this for usually Friday, Saturday, and sometimes Sunday. And then all of a sudden I'd have this food guilt. And then the whole process would start over again on Monday. And then all of a sudden I'd be back in the gym, you know, another 6 to 7 days, and going hard, you know, like just really almost abusing my body. So, you know, at this time, my body was a lot thicker for my frame. It was a lot thicker for my frame. You know, my quads were like 2 inches bigger. I was working out a lot, but funnily enough, my stomach was 4 inches bigger than it is now at my belly button. 4 inches. Like, that's quite a bit. And that was partly due to overtraining my core, overtraining my obliques specifically, you know, like going on that machine and hanging onto the weight and doing all that oblique work. But then also it came down to my food. I was restricting myself too much during the week, specifically carbohydrates, and then I was overdoing it on the weekend, gorging myself and really binging and making myself quite uncomfortable. To try and it's like my body was forcing me to make up for those calories lost during the week for all that exercise I was doing. So my body was very different shape, but it was also a very different time for me mentally. And oh, look at all these people popping on. Hey guys, Nicole, Michelle, so nice to see you. Hey Sabrina. So everything was very different at that time in my life. I had a lot of food guilt. I had guilt if I didn't work out. I was tired a lot because I was overtraining and not eating enough. I was getting injured a lot. So I was overtraining, and it was a very difficult time mentally because I felt like I was doing everything right. And, you know, I was exercising a lot. I was seeing gains in my strength, not always, but typically I was seeing gains in my strength. I was seeing gains in, you know, the circumference of my muscles and my legs and my bum and my arms. Unfortunately, in my stomach, which wasn't ideal, but I was just gaining weight everywhere, and some of it was muscle and some of it was fat. So yeah, it was a really hard time mentally because, hey Julia, how's it going? I'm so happy you guys are popping on. It was a really hard time mentally because I felt like I was doing everything right, but my body was getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and I felt like crap. So, you know, I felt good because I knew, you know, I could like bench press like a lot of weight for my size, and I could like really pump out some like serious deadlifts and stuff. But so I felt good that way. It was more for my ego, I guess. I was feeding my ego, but I didn't feel good because I wasn't getting the physique I wanted, and I was trying so hard. Like, I was working out so hard to get this like 6-pack ab that I thought I needed to have to prove to people that I was like a good personal trainer. So anyways, oh, and I ran a lot, and I loved running. I loved it. I got such an endorphin release from it. I was good at it. Basically, I am a really good runner, and specifically a fast, and I would love going on the treadmill and like sprinting and like crushing like an under 7-minute mile, and yeah, I was just overdoing it every way possible, and my muscles were always tight, and I wasn't sleeping well at night, and my food was out of control. I thought it was in control because I was eating so clean during the week. I thought it was in control and I could have my cheat, meals on the weekend, but it was honestly out of control because I was eating way too little during the week for the amount of exercise I was doing, and then I was not eating the right foods on the weekend and feeling super guilty for the stuff I was eating because I knew I was overdoing it. Hey, Catherine. And so yeah, so that was me 8 to 10 years ago. And some of you guys knew me then. And some of you guys came to the fitness classes, and some of you guys personally trained with me. And you will remember, like, I was jacked. Like, my body was very different from how it is now. And my training was very different. And if you came to me back then compared to now, I would train you very differently, because I train my clients and we train the classes how we train ourselves. So when people ask me, like, how much do you work out each week and how do you train? It's so simple. I train the way I train you guys. So, you know, when it comes to our online training, I'm doing the videos. So that's my training. That's me working out. And then you guys do the videos. So my training is no different. It's not like I finish a video and I'm like, oh God, I gotta pump out some more biceps. Like, what I'm doing on that video is what I do. Like, I work out only 3 to 4 times a week now. My workouts are only 15 to 30 minutes. That's not to say I'm not active on the other days, because I walk a lot. You know, sometimes I'll just get on the ground and start stretching. I'll go swimming. Like, I will do active things because I'm a busy body. If you haven't noticed, I can be quite hyper at times. So I'm a busy body, but I don't work out that much because my body was not responding well, and I needed to, like, pull back big time because it was getting injured. I was tired. It wasn't the shape I wanted, and I just didn't feel good. Like, mentally, I did not feel good about myself. So, and it had nothing to do with me being bigger. I'm not saying that. I'm not trying to body shame anybody. What it had to do with was me thinking that I was being so perfect and I was working so hard, but I wasn't getting the results that I thought I had to look like for these magazines, right? So, to be a good personal trainer or whatever. So anyways, you know, fast forward, and now that's what my training looks like. So I only train 3 to 4 times a week. I train with the Yugi ball that you guys see in class. So this is actually a TKO ball, Northern Lights TKO ball. I know that's backwards, but this is how I train. So instead of doing, you know, like, I'm gonna crush some Arnold presses for my shoulders, which are fine once in a while, but, like, you don't need to be doing as heavy as you can for, you know, 4 sets of those, and, like, just like that you need a spotter. So now I'll take the Yugi ball and I'll just hammer it and do some slow pressures. And then at the same time, I'm working my biceps, I got my cardio going, I have my abs going, I got my shoulders, I'm working my wrists, my forearms. Like, it's not as isolated. My workouts are more dynamic. So they're more functional because I'm working different muscles at the same time instead of just really isolating and focusing on just doing a quad extension. You know, so I'm moving, but you guys can't see me. A quad extension, like if I had that machine and I'm kind of moving my leg out. So although I do those sometimes, that's not my style of training anymore. So I only work out 3 to 4 times a week for only 15 to 30 minutes. And I don't know, even before I had my daughter, like, I don't know how anybody has the time to work out 6 to 7 days a week. I mean, I was in my, like, early to mid 20s at that point, so maybe that's why. I still lived with my parents, I had all this time, I wasn't running a house, a business, and then obviously now having a child, but I don't know who has the time for that. So why not treat your body well, working out 3 to 4 times a week, doing functional training, and saving yourself time, having more time to meal prep, having more time to spend with your family, having more time to spend with your friends, maybe sitting down and reading a book, or having a bath, or whatever. And then also, the thing that blew my mind the most is because I started doing more and more reading and taking more courses, was my nutrition. So I was really stuck on, you know, you had to get so many grams of protein per body weight, and, you know, if you wanted to build muscle, and so I was just like downing protein shakes and eating chicken like out the wazoo. It was crazy. And now, and I wasn't eating carbs, and now my diet is actually focused on carbs. Thanks, Mal. Hey, Mallory, so nice to see you. Now it's focused on carbs, and I'm leaner now, and I'm fit in a different way. So I'm still strong, I still feel good, I still do my push-ups off my toes, you know, I can do a couple chin-ups or 2, like I feel strong for me, for what I want my level to be, but my nutrition is I'm eating way more than I ever have. And it really goes to show you that the cleaner you eat, so for me, the cleaner I eat, but I don't restrict any macronutrients. So I don't restrict protein, I don't restrict carbs, I don't restrict fat. I allow myself to have all those things, but I don't focus on diet foods. Okay, I focus on whole foods. I focus on things that come from the earth, and I don't count calories. I eat until I feel satisfied, and I make sure my plate is colorful. You've heard all these things before. So I eat a lot different. I eat way more than I ever did, and I work out less, and I eat way more carbs. And then now, the most beautiful thing of it all is that when I do have a cheat meal, which I don't even really like to call it because it's really just eating like a normal person. It's having some balance in your life and not feeling guilty for it, is I don't feel guilty for it. And that is probably the biggest change between now, is that I don't feel guilty about my food. And let's see what the question is here. I can go on a little bit more. You're so right. I remember doing the insanity workouts a few years ago, and it would take over 1.5 hours sometimes, really, to get through all the workouts. I can't see what else it says, Julia. Oh, there's Dana. Hey, Dana, you know what? Last week when I saw your name, I didn't even clue in who it was because of the last name, and I called you Dana, and then I realized after, so hey Dana. Or I called you Dana, last week. So, and you know what? There you go. There's an example. Dana, I used to train many, many years ago when I had a very different style, and my body was a lot bigger. And then my perceptions of food and diet were a lot different. And yeah, it's just funny how you can go from working out, 5, 6, 7 days a week, barely eating, to like overeating on the weekend, focusing on protein smoothies and like all these workout enhancement stuff, these supplements, and just having a completely different relationship with food or different relationship with the gym if I didn't go, to really backing off and now focusing on quality over quantity, not only when it comes to food, but also when it comes to my workout. So I'd rather get like a nice, intense 15 to 30 minute workout. That's what I mostly do, by the way, is high intensity interval training. So I get all my cardio in. I'd rather do that than spend 60 minutes and just focusing on one muscle group. I find that it's a lot more efficient. It made my body a lot more lean. It leaned out. This ball that actually Dana introduced me to was the game changer when it came to reshaping my arms from quite thick to in shape. And so yeah, and it's all that functional HIIT training that did it for me. And what's interesting, and I want to share with you guys, is some people think, okay, well, if you're not running, or you're not doing cardio and you're not lifting the same at the gym, you're probably not as strong. But as an example, it was 5 years ago now, 4 to 5 years ago now, I started to go through to be a police officer. And at this time, I'd already stopped running, but they had these beep tests as part of, to get through as a police officer and to get your certificate to go into the, not the application process, I guess part of that, but also the interview process. You had to do this beep test where you're running back and forth. I killed it. And I did not, and in a good way, like I nailed it. And I wasn't running. So my HIIT training that I was doing, like the 50 seconds on, 10 seconds off, was what was really increasing my stamina and my endurance, my speed training, like everything, so that when I was running, I was completely fine. It's like I hadn't even lost it, which was crazy, because I have to admit I was a little concerned. And so after doing some of the practice ones with the police, I was like, okay, we'll see how this goes. If it doesn't go well, then I'll get out and I'll run. But I didn't have to. So it really keeps you in shape. And I can also still do push-ups on my toes. My new goal is to get back to 50 off my toes. But I can still do plenty of push-ups off my toes. I don't have a machine at my house, but I can still do some pull-ups. So I still have strength, but I don't need to be like grunting it out to get there. And I don't need to be starving myself to get there. And I don't need to be having one protein shake after the other and water. Blah, like it's so gross. You have to work out smart. And yeah, I just do we practice what we preach. Okay, so my workouts look like the ones you guys do online. When you go to class, that's also like we introduced Yugi Fit to Royally Fit because it changed my life and my body so much that I wanted to introduce it to everyone else. So we went and we invested in all these balls so that we could show people how to change their bodies too and get them leaner and not, you know, so thick. Some people want that, and that's fine, but we were able to get them leaner and strong and good cardio, good strength, good everything without having to spend so much time in the gym. So let me just see, I know there was a couple questions. Sabrina, did you, oh wait, there's another question above that. Michelle, where do you get your TKO balls from? I actually got this one, and I do recommend TKO balls over Yugi balls now, because Yugi balls are really expensive, especially because you have to order them from the States, so you got that exchange rate if you're Canadian. Excuse me. And these ones I got off of Fitness Depot, and you can order them online. I think they could deliver them, but I picked mine up in store. So you just find whichever one's closest to you, and you pick it up in store. That was only 30 bucks or 40 bucks compared to 100 that the Yugi balls were. And then when you added in the exchange, it was just insane how expensive the Yugi balls were. And I actually find these ones better quality. Next question. Did you find the removal of dairy and gluten also change your digestion, metabolism? Big time. So 8 to 10 years ago, I actually, because that was kind of like that gym mentality and like that whole thing for like to gain muscle, was cottage cheese, eggs, cheese in general, milk, put milk in your protein smoothie. And so I did all that stuff, and I didn't really use milk a lot actually because it upset my stomach, but I lived off cottage cheese. Like, oh my God, cottage cheese all the time. And then, yeah, I cut all of that out, and that made a massive difference. I've been low gluten for a very long time, very, very long time. But like I was having like the sprouted grain Ezekiel's, but I was having a lot of beer, but then I started having really, really bad reactions to it, like really, really bad rashes. And then so because they were on my face, it really was like, okay, you know, I can handle some discomfort in my belly sometimes, but because it was getting on my face, it was getting very obvious that there was a big issue going on in there. So I completely eliminated gluten for a couple years, and I was even having like, you know, like the cider beers and stuff. So I helped to heal my gut by eliminating those things. I'm not celiac, so I was able to eliminate it. I put the gelatin in to help restore my gut, and then now, luckily, I can enjoy a beer without reacting. However, I won't be having a lot of dairy and gluten in my diet ever, okay? Because I don't think it does anybody really any good. And even if they don't feel how it affects their digestion and their weight loss, it does. So it inflames your body, and if your body's ever inflamed, you're going to hang on to body fat. So I don't encourage anybody to have either of those often, but I do have them sometimes. So I'm just like a regular person, and sometimes I'm going to have cheese if I go out for dinner, and sometimes I'm going to have a beer. But they're not a regular part of my diet, and they never will be, because I did see such dramatic changes in my body shape. So yeah, that was part of the nutrition, to answer your question, Sabrina. Nicole ordered a bulk order last time. Maybe there's interest for another order. You know what, Kim, to be honest, that was a lot of work for Nicole. So, and there wasn't really a deal at all. So I would just say go on Fitness Depot and get your own. And you won't be spending any more money than you would if you got it through Nicole instead of her having to go and pick all those bows up. It was really sweet of her to do that, but you're not going to get any more of a deal that way. So, hey, Andrina. Hey, Joe. How's everyone doing? Anybody else have anything to say? Carrie Ann, April. Oh, April, I'm so happy you made it. You didn't think you would. Yeah, that's awesome. Nicole, Katie Causeway, Lisa Ledger, Lisa. I never know how to pronounce your last name. You must hate me for that. Jackie. So thank you so much for popping on here, guys. Tell me what you think, and tell me if you're one of those people that feel guilty if you don't work out, and you know, feel guilty if you don't eat right. You get a lot of food guilt. You know something needs to change. You're not seeing any changes in your body. You know something needs to change. Tell me if you're that, and if you could give this a try. And we're actually, oh, how would I forget this? We're actually offering anybody that watches this video that wants to give this a try a $1 first month subscription to Royally Fit Online, which is where we send you the 3 videos for 15 to 30 minutes, the ones that we do a week plus a monthly meal plan, and then lifetime support on our online community. So for any of you any of you that question the quality and like the quality of food, but also just like how much you can actually change your body and your mind with less exercise, better food and all that, please go on Royally Fit Online or royallyfit.ca/royallyfitonline, and you can sign up using the code thick to thin, all lowercase, and get your first month for $1. And if you don't dig it, you just cancel it before your next payment comes out for $29 a month. And and anybody who wants to come to our classes, it's $20 off until Sunday. Okay, so anybody that wants to come to our classes. So let me see, I wrote down stuff this week so I didn't forget. Let me see if there's anything I'm missing. I don't think so. So, hey Kelsey, hey Sarah. Oh man, a whole bunch of people. Let me just see if there's any more questions before I pop off. Food prep is so hard for me, so much guilt. Food prep is hard, Kim, and it really comes down to habit and asking for help. Ask your kids to help. Get them involved. Ask your husband to help. Like, you can't do it all on your own. That's actually probably the thing that suffered the most since having Rowan, and I used to think that I had to do everything myself around here. Not that Matt made me feel that way, but I felt like I wanted to be the one that cleaned, and I did the laundry, and I cooked, and I did everything. And that's one of the many things I've been humbled with since having Rowan, is I needed to ask for help. And so make sure you ask for it too, and just make sure you have lots of stuff that you put in the freezer and that you can always like grab. And then before here, I worked on and off today from 6 a.m. until 5 p.m. And so before I did this video, because we had to put Rowan to bed, feed her dinner, put her to bed, before I did this video, all I had was a toasted sandwich with hummus on it and vegan cheese and alfalfa sprouts with a side salad that was made with like chickpeas and cabbage and carrots and all that kind of stuff. So like super quick. Like it took me 5 minutes to make. So it's possible. Changing your mindset and food knowledge has made a big difference in how I feel about working out. I think I need to try cutting gluten for inflammatory, I can't see the rest, but I'm sure it means reasons. Changing your mindset is huge. That has been that's been my biggest transformation. 100%. My body has changed. And although it's changed even more since having Rowan with regards to like the shape and getting used to things, especially after having a C-section and all that kind of stuff, I am happier with my body, not just because of the way I feel it looks better, but also because of my mental state. Like I have changed drastically up here from 10 years ago. I am a completely different person when it comes to how I perceive working out and how I perceive eating healthy, and it's quite liberating. And that's like my biggest passion right now, is showing women how they can work out less and eat more and don't feel deprived and still see amazing results. So thanks for that comment. With the gelatin, are there any side effects, and are you able to just keep taking it forever? Is this the limit? I actually called the company, and you can take it forever. There is no limit, except Julia, I believe, I might be wrong, but you're vegan or vegetarian, I feel like. So if you are, it is an animal product, so it's not something that you would want to have all the time, but there are vegan options of gelatin out there, called agar agar or something like that, so you can look it up on Amazon. But no, you can have it every day, and the only side effects that there are is sometimes it can act as a detoxifier at the beginning. So for the first 3 to 4 days, some people get headaches, and they start going to the bathroom more, or they start going to the bathroom less. So, which is actually a sign that you probably need it. But if you have any questions, they have amazing customer service. There's a number on the back of the Great Lakes gelatin that I get. It's upstairs, so I can't show you right now, but and you just call them and ask any questions, and they're fantastic. I was calling them to ask questions about giving it to Rowan, and they were super knowledgeable and full of positive feedback and knowledge. I totally feel guilty. I'm finding not hitting it hard right now. Royally Fit has always been a huge part of my life, and I love all the recipes, so I definitely, man, how come I can't see the rest of these? It's really frustrating. But Joe, I think I know what you're trying to say, because I know your situation right now, and you haven't been able to work out hard for a long time, and I can't imagine, because I only had that for a short time after having Rowan, and the big scheme of things, and that was a struggle for me because it's such a release. Even if it's only 3 to 4 times a week for 15 to 30 minutes, it's such a mental release. It feels really good. So I imagine you're struggling, but you have to stay strong because you are still doing things. Like, you are still being active. You're still eating healthy. You have all these good habits in place, and you're a great role model for your daughter. So you should be proud of that, and you'll get back to it eventually. This isn't a forever thing for you, breaking your ankle. Jessica, I also have a lot of guilt. Good breakfast and lunch and usually dinner, but it's the mid-afternoon crash and I usually binge on peanut butter. That's interesting. That means that your body's probably craving fat. So Jessica, I can't read the rest. I don't know, I have to figure this out on Facebook Live why I can't read the rest. But Jessica, you're probably gonna have to incorporate some healthy fats into your breakfast and your lunch. So I would say, I don't know what you're having for breakfast, but maybe have your peanut butter or almond butter then. You could also sprinkle some pumpkin seeds, some sesame seeds, or anything like that on your salad. Or you can even I love making a homemade salad dressing that has tahini in it and a little bit of almond butter actually. So incorporating things like that, because your body's looking for fat, maybe it's looking for those extra calories. So make sure that you get that. So, because you shouldn't feel guilty, first of all, for having some peanut butter. Although if it's a binge, I guess maybe you're feeling like, oh, I wish I had more control, so I get that. But try incorporating, your body's telling you something. That's why I used to binge. My body was saying, hey, you're not eating enough, so, and I'm gonna force you to eat anything in sight right now. And that's usually going to be bad things. So just make sure that you're incorporating some more calories into your earlier part of your day, and hopefully that helps. So give that a shot, and you can always email me or go on our private Facebook group and ask questions if you have any. Meal prep is so tough, but so worth it. 1 week will be different to the next. Yep, that's like us. I used to always feel so guilty too, but I'm in the same boat as you, Ash. I don't know why I can't read the rest, but God, I'm so sorry, guys. I gotta figure this out. First of all, Mallory, thanks for commenting. It's so nice to hear from you. And yeah, meal prep is key, and it's hard, but like I said, you guys have to ask for help. We make the same meals a lot. Like we try to switch it up and be creative, but like those days are kind of gone since having Rowan especially. So, we have like our staples in our house that we meal prep that don't take that long. They maybe take like 2 hours once a week. And then after that's done in a couple days, we kind of fill it in with those fast meals, like tonight having a sandwich, like a vegan sandwich with a side salad. Or tomorrow night, we're gonna be having avocado pesto pasta, and it takes as long as the pasta takes to cook. That's how long a meal takes to make. So you just have to find these things that you can keep in your routine, that you're happy with, that satisfy you, and that way you have quick options. That means that you don't have to go out or make bad food choices, but they have to be like hearty. Like you can't just be like, oh, I'm gonna go buy a salad from the salad bar and I'll just put some chicken on top and then maybe a little bit of vinegar and that will do it. Ooh, that's not enough. You're setting yourself up for failure. So if that's what you think is gonna get you lean, you're wrong. You're gonna end up binging, or and that means you're probably gonna either A, pick something bad from like a drive-through, or you're gonna pick something bad at home, like a bag of chips or chocolate or whatever. So eat hearty, eat to your heart's desire. Just make sure it's healthy. Random question, is it safe to give toddlers nutritional yeast? Yes, it is. I actually give Rowan, because we don't eat a lot of meat around here. So we go through phases, but like typically Matt and I only eat meat like 2 or 3 times a week. So that means that Rowan does as well. So we make sure that we give her nutritional yeast and we sprinkle it on things for the extra B vitamins, B12 specifically. And I put it just yesterday. I gave her some rice. What was the rice with? Was it beans? I can't remember, but it had like some sort of smushiness to it. Oh, it was like a little bit of Indian, like a little bit of like an Indian sauce type thing. And then I put nutritional yeast on top. So something like that. I also want to add it to some of Ava's meals. Yeah, I do. I totally recommend it. I don't know if there's a limit on that, because I usually just sprinkle some on. You'd have to ask your doctor. Or once again, call the number on the back. Like, it's crazy how much information you can find out from a product just by calling the number on the back. When I was gluten-free for a while, I would literally be standing in the LCBO, I remember this, and like calling the 1-800 numbers on my phone, because gluten is hidden in so much stuff, and I was getting such quick and drastic reactions, I was like not willing to take a chance. So I would just call the 1-800 numbers on like the back of the, I remember doing it on Clamato one time, like for Caesars. And yeah, like you'd be surprised what you can find out just from calling the numbers. That's what they're there for. I was just doing the vegan thing for Lent, so I'm good. You just mentioned headaches. I've been getting them after I started taking it. Yeah, so that was actually something that they told me when I called, is that that's one of the detox reactions to taking gelatin. So yeah, it should be gone in a couple of days if you keep at it, but if you stop it and then take it again, you might get that same reaction. And I know some people that have gotten constipated and other people that have gone to the bathroom more. So, and that kind of settles within a couple of days typically as well. But I have found personally with gelatin is consistency is key. If you want any sort of results, you have to stay consistent on it. You can't just have it, you know, oh, I'll have gelatin twice a week. Like we have gelatin once or twice a day. So I, you know, for example, today I put it in our smoothie as well as my morning tea. So anything else? FYI, green juice has a huge impact on my life. I used to always get sinus chest infections since green, none? Oh, Joe, that's so cool. I've never heard that before. That's fantastic. Yes, as you guys know, we are the huge Kimberly Snyder green glowing smoothie promoters, and we think it is fantastic. It can be a morning game changer, whether it's, you know, your first off morning smoothie. It's the first thing you consume in the morning beyond your lemon water. Sometimes I have it in the morning as a snack. So, but for most people, it helps to reduce their cravings for caffeine, and it really helps with just overall energy. And then it's called green glowing smoothie. It's supposed to make your skin glow, and it's delicious. We give it to Rowan, drank a whole glass today, this much, and it has so much iron in it because of all the spinach. And she devoured it, which is great because she's teething and she's not chewing on a lot of stuff right now. So, but that's really interesting about the allergies and the chest infections, sinus and chest infections. That's great. Good for immunity. Sinead, Catherine. Oh, there's my sister-in-law, Catherine Matthews. Hello. Any tips on eliminating gluten? Did you find it hard at first? Yeah, I did. I did find it hard, Jackie, because I felt like it was in everything, which it can be. It can be hidden a lot. I was even calling the Clubhouse spices to find out it had gluten in it. Like I just felt like everything had gluten in it. But I have to say, if you're not celiac, which I wasn't, I was just really gluten sensitive at this part of my life. And you don't have to be so anal about those little things. I was getting almost obsessive because I wanted to learn more and more about it. But I would say the big things, they're really easy to eliminate. It's more when you're celiac and you have to like really watch everything, because like even the smallest amount can give you a flare up. But you know, eliminating the bread, the pasta, what else has gluten in it that people, you know, things like cookies, like things that you really shouldn't eat anyways, at least all the time. There's lots of gluten-free options out there. I mean, the beauty now is that, you know, you just go on Google and you look up gluten-free this, gluten-free that. You can find an insane amount of things. The only thing I have to say for people that go gluten-free at the beginning is to not use every gluten-free product out there, because I actually initially gained a couple pounds when I started that, because I was getting gluten-free crackers, I was getting gluten-free bread, I was getting gluten-free like treats. Like they have this section at the store where you can get these gluten-free treats, so I would get like these cookies and all these things. And they can be really high on the glycemic index. And in fact, there's some studies that say gluten-free bread is actually higher on the glycemic index than white bread, which means it really spikes your sugar and then drops it, which can put you into fat storing mode. So you have to be careful, but there's tons of things that are naturally gluten-free out there, like your brown rice, like your quinoa, like potatoes, like chickpeas, any sort of bean or lentil or anything. So hopefully you don't have a sensitivity to those, but it can be easy, but it does feel overwhelming at the beginning. So did I find it hard at first? Yes, because I was being so anal about it. But it doesn't have to be. I would just say look at some resources. And Jackie, you're on our online training. Most of our stuff is gluten-free. The only thing that's not is the spread of green bread that we promote. So everything else is gluten-free. So if you basically follow our diet most of the time, you're fine. You're fine. And I have to mention that Sunny that just did our online training that started it, I don't know if she wants me mentioning her name, but if she is on here, she can kind of give a double tap or be proud of it. But she really altered her diet, and within the first month, she said she lost 14 pounds. And I would say a big part of that is the change of diet, the gluten, the dairy, and then obviously adding in the activity. But yeah, big changes can happen from small changes. It seems overwhelming at first, but really there's like this whole world of delicious food out there that has nothing to do with dairy and gluten. Good to know. I would have never thought to do that. Thanks. You're welcome. Thanks so much, Ash. I've been having it with my black tea and smoothies. Perfect, Julia. That's perfect. Steph, I find I have a lot of sugar cravings at night. What can I do to help get rid of them? Oh, this is such a big question because women get this a lot. There's two things. The first thing I would say or ask you is it a habit? Does it really come down to simply, are you craving sugar at night because it's your habit? Is it something that you look forward to because it's your way to relax at night, you know, put on the TV? And if it's really that simple, then you just have to change your habit. And you can change a habit in 21 days. So, you know, in the big grand scheme of life, it's really not a long time to change your habit. So what's the easiest way to change a habit? Introduce a new one. So if you want to sit on the couch and still enjoy something, get like, you know, a beautiful wine glass and then fill it up with some water and some lemon and some strawberries and stuff that makes you feel like it's a little bit of a treat. Or you can find something like, sometimes if I'm really craving sugar at night, not that I do it daily, I'll have dairy-free chocolate chips in a bowl with some pumpkin seeds or something. So, but the other question I have for you is, this is, you know, rewind 8-10 years ago when I was getting like a crazy amount of cravings and binging on the weekend. It was because I wasn't eating enough, and specifically carbs. So are you eating enough of those? And make sure that you're eating consistently throughout the day. Make sure that you're not tired, you're not irritable. All these signs that show that you're not eating enough. And then if you're craving sugars a lot, maybe you're not eating enough carbs, or maybe you're eating too many and you're getting all these spikes, right? Up and down and like making you crave more. So I would food journal and for yourself, and then kind of like check in and then see how that looks at the end of the day and be like, oh, you know what, I really didn't have a morning snack, or I didn't eat enough at lunch, and I didn't have any carbs today. And you know, did you get headaches? You know, were you irritable? Are you really tired? Like all these signs that you're possibly not eating enough. Check in with that as well, and it will really start to, once you incorporate more carbohydrates, like I did for myself, and I incorporated more calories, cravings. Like, yes, I'm human and I crave things sometimes, but they're not as strong and daunting as they were before. Like I would get a craving and it's all I could focus on. It would become an obsession. Like somebody could be talking like me, and all I think is chocolate, chocolate, chocolate. How do I get downstairs to have chocolate, chocolate, chocolate? I won't tell them I'm gonna go downstairs and have chocolate because they just saw me eat a bunch of shit. And it's like, so when it becomes obsessive like that, then, you know, maybe you're not eating enough, or it's simply a habit. You just got to introduce a new one. Thanks, great tips. I think it will help my never-ending upset stomach and thyroid. Yes. What book did I read on thyroid that had to do with gluten? I think it was called Grain Brain, Jackie, and it actually talked a lot about how gluten in particular has a really negative effect on autoimmune diseases. So, which is your thyroid, which is what I got. I have low thyroid, yeah, they talk a lot about, oh no, you know what it was? It was called wheat belly. Grain Brain does touch on that as well, so I mean either or. But yeah, it was wheat belly that kind of was like, wow, I need to get off gluten, because I was like basically everything on the list. So yeah, I think it will definitely help. It's totally worth a try, and it will help with that, as well as your hormones, with how you feel, with seeing. I know you've been really upset lately because you haven't been seeing the changes in your body like you did after your first child. It's because your hormones changed, right? So how do we amplify your hormones in a positive way, make them balanced and make them healthy? And part of the easiest way, if you don't need any thyroid pill, which I know you're on, but they said that it's level, is food. Because everything you eat affects your hormones. So I would say do some investigating into that and do some reading, and maybe you'll learn some more. I'm pretty sure I have an allergy to gluten, so that's what I need to cut out. Yeah, and you know what? It doesn't mean that you need to like go hardcore like me and cut it out for a couple of years. But maybe you just need to eliminate it on an everyday basis. And you have it just once in a blue moon. And when you do have it, you might notice that you get really bloated and gassy and your stomach is distended and you feel like you have to undo your butt. And that's probably a great indication that it's not good for you. Which it's mind-blowing to me when people are like, oh, well, if you don't eat gluten and dairy all the time, you'll be more sensitive to it. Why do I want to make myself sensitive to something that's not good for me? Anyways, it's a whole other but yeah, so I would just do that. Like, you don't have to make it overwhelming. You have to simplify it and just give yourself all these other options and not commit like you're failing if you give in here and there, right? Because if you're not celiac, you don't have to completely 110% commit to it. You just have to make it part of your lifestyle. And hate when people say that too. Yeah, I know. Oh, that's exactly. I'm going to read that. Please do. And you know what? I probably still have the book, Jackie. If you want, you could even come pick it up because I know you live near me. So yeah. But anyways, I think I'm going to stop chatting now unless anybody has any more questions. Please let me know. And as always, I'll come on here and make sure I check out your comments for the next 24 hours or more. Don't forget, you can sign up for, please share this too, guys. Like it and share it with anybody you think that might benefit from it or want to know about the Royally Fit online deal that we have going on right now for the first month for $1 using the promo code thick2thin, all lowercase and all together. And I can put the link below on how to do that. And then also our classes right now are $20 off for July until Sunday. So getting a little promo in there. Anyways, I hope everyone has a great night. Oh, there's more. Let me see. 1 second. Thanks for the enhanced collagen powder tip. I've been adding it to my green tea twice daily for 7.5 weeks and can't believe the difference in my skin. Yay, Lisa, you have no idea how happy that makes me. Yay. I love hearing that because I was honestly wondering if I was insane because I was seeing so many benefits from it. I'm like, am I nuts here? And then I've had so many people since doing that gelatin live talk that have gotten massive I'm not even kidding, life-altering changes. Like crazy changes to their digestion and the foods they can eat and how digestively sound they feel and comfortable and their skin and everything, their nails, their hair. It's just awesome. So I'm so happy to hear that. It makes me really happy. And I wish it was working for me right now because I just stopped breastfeeding last month and then my face is reacting. I'm like, come on, gelatin, do your job. But it will stop. It's only temporary. You can't see because of this beautiful, beautiful light. You can't see any of the acne that's going on. Great tips. Thanks, Ash, for watching. And thanks, Sabrina. I just had a question. What you recommend putting in a brekkie smoothie besides having green juice? Well, for example, I'll tell you what my smoothie was today. It was frozen raspberries, almond milk, hemp hearts, gelatin, chia seeds. I didn't have bananas, so I put in a couple of dates and almond milk, if I didn't say that, and that's all. And then I basically my smoothies are that simple. The only thing I do is I usually throw a banana in and I pick a random frozen fruit that we have in the freezer, and then I add in sometimes peanut butter, gelatin, chia seeds, hemp hearts, and often ginger. I'll cut up an inch of ginger and throw it in because it's really good for anti-inflammatory purposes. So yeah, and then I just kind of alternate between that. Sometimes I throw cacao in there, and sometimes I throw molasses in there for iron for Rowan, and for us. But yeah, so I just I switch it up all the time, but it's chock full of calories for Rowan and then also for Matt and I. And yeah, I just throw everything in it. You are not insane. A chronic rash on my face has been disappeared and my fine lines have diminished. Yes, I'm so happy to hear that. I've had a couple people that say they had either rashes or dry patches and they've disappeared since having the gelatin. It's amazing. And it's funny because Matt and I, we really don't want to have a lot of animal products. And obviously that's a whole other Facebook Live. But the one thing, even if we went completely vegan, the one thing I have a really hard time giving up is the gelatin because I've had so many benefits from it, and I don't know if the vegan gelatin gives it that kind of a punch. So I wouldn't know until I tried. But I'm so happy, Lisa. Thanks for watching, and thanks for giving it a shot and getting the benefits. I'm preparing my green juice for the next 2 days. Love the green juice. Me too. I love preparing it for 2 or 3 days, sometimes even 4 in advance. It's so good. You know what? I've been so addicted to it in midday. Like, I was having it in the morning for a long time, and then after having Rowan, I got in the habit of having it midday, like mid-morning or midday, sometimes a second time. And, oh, it's so good. So good for energy. And sweet, thanks again. So yeah, anyways, thanks for watching, guys. I'm gonna go upstairs and hang out with my husband and watch this new documentary, The Keepers. Ooh, it's really good. It's like making a murderer. It's really good and addictive. So thanks so much for watching and for listening and trusting me and hanging out with me for this long. And I can't wait to come on here and see if there's anything else that you guys have to say over the next 24 hours. But other than that, have a great night. Thank you. I've heard of it before, but your 2 videos about it gave me the push to try it. They sell it at the Boat Barn. Oh yeah, I did hear that. I just haven't tried it yet. That's great. So anyways, have a wonderful night, guys. Always showing you the real girl's approach to a badass body. Boop, boop. Bye.